Ben, I'm sorry, but you're being replaced.
Well, after all I've done, you're replacing me?
Well, you see, there's just this other guy, and he's younger, and frankly, we just like him better.
You know what?
Sorry, dude.
I've done so much for this podcast that is ridiculous that you would even conceive of replacing me. You guys, useless pieces. I'm out of here.
Okay, well, he left. Yeah, he's not being replaced, but he's gone. So that's something. Although he's not being replaced, there have been some people who actually have been replaced. Hi, everyone. This is the Predominantly Football Podcast, where we talk about a wide variety of sports, but predominantly football. Cue the intro. Hi, hola, bonjour. I'm Scott Lebo, here without Ben Prantle and with Cole Isaacson, and also here with a lot of moths.
What's up? I'm back. The moths are my only friends, so I'm chilling with them.
Okay, yeah.
No replacing me.
It is May 29th, 2020. Well, technically, for us, it's May 28th, but that's not important. Today is the third episode of our podcast. Today we've got a lot to talk about. So today we're going to talk about NFL players who may or may not have been replaced in the draft and free agency, some QB competitions, and some soccer transfer rumors. Let's get into it. All right, so some NFL players, frankly, were replaced in the draft and free agency.
Speaking from experience, that really hurts in the feels. So you should feel bad for those guys.
Now, when you think of guys who got replaced, your mind probably immediately jumps to, all right, what quarterbacks got drafted, who got replaced there?
What about me?
And Ben.
And me.
But
I'd like to
right
think I'm a valued member.
right now, we're not going to talk about quarterbacks just yet. We're going to focus on running backs who got replaced in the draft and in free agency.
Yeah.
Starting with a Super Bowl champion, Damian Williams, got replaced... by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think it's 100% a replacement. Damian Williams, he's fine. He's very good. He's serviceable. That's a good word. I think we're going to hear that word a lot today. Serviceable. That's the word of the day. Every time you hear serviceable, scream real loud. But, I mean, what do they like to use him in? The Chiefs like to run a lot of play action because it opens downfield, and RPOs. Because it opens plays downfield, you can work over the middle easier if linebackers are committing. Damian Williams is used for that and catching the ball. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a younger, shiftier, and quicker version of Damian Williams who can catch the ball and make space, use powerful runs. Joe Burrow literally called Clyde Edwards-Helaire the best player he's ever played with.
Wow.
And he's played with Michael Thomas, the Bosa brothers, and a whole lot of people who got drafted a month or so ago. So I think Helaire is 100% a replacement. I think they'll still use Williams in some situations, but it's the Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Patrick Mahomes show. The AFC East is...
AFC East?
They're coming for you. 2 years too late, they're coming for New England.
All right. Cole, what do you think?
Well, I think that I'm kind of with Ben on this one. With most running back situations, I don't think it's a replacement. I think it's just another asset. But with this one, I think that it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire's job to take, basically.
Right.
They drafted him in the first. If you draft a running back in the first round, the expectation is that he is your future starter. Granted, if there's one position that Kansas City does not need, it is running back because of how much they throw the ball.
Yeah.
But I do think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is supposed to be the replacement. Damian Williams, he's 28 years old, which in running back terms is starting to get up there.
Yeah, unless you're Frank
because
Gore, it's like
I'd say the average running back career is going to last about 5 years, and that's a solid career in terms of like your peak.
Yeah.
And Damian Williams is probably past that, so I think it's a good move by Kansas City getting this guy who can be in the backfield with him for these next couple of years, and then eventually replace him in whenever his contract expires.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with the two of you guys here. According to reports, when it got to that pick, pick number 32, the end of the draft, apparently the Chiefs called up Patrick Mahomes and asked him, "Who do you want?" And he said, "Give me Clyde." And I mean, that just shows, one, how much control Patrick Mahomes has in this team, but two, that the intent that they have with Hilaire, that their best player wants him there, shows to me that he's going to be replacing Damian Williams.
This is turning in the Kansas City. When you say it like that, it's almost like a LeBron James team scenario where LeBron James makes the teams, and in part because the front office wants to keep him there. Will Mahomes leave the Chiefs when it's time for his massive payday? No, I don't think that'll happen. But it seems like they might be thinking about that anyways. If there's like Patrick, friend, compadre, you get to. This team is built for you. It's built by you. Why would you want to leave?
Yeah, and he's gonna want a massive contract.
Oh, he's
gonna want a massive contract, or he's gonna take a pay cut to stay on a good team.
And I think he'll take the massive contract.
I think he's going to take the massive contract. I think this is probably for another day.
Yeah.
This is probably for another day, but you can probably say bye-bye to Sammy Watkins. Because of his cap hit and age. So
and Kansas
to free up the space that Mahomes is going to take for that big payday.
Yeah.
Kansas City, it seems they're just trying to build the fastest and shiftiest teams on offense.
Yeah.
And that's a great strategy because not a lot of defenses are fast enough to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Maybe if the Chargers had taken Simmons, they could be able to, but it's all about speed. And everything's turning into speed games.
All right. On to the second running backs. The second running back, Kerryon Johnson.
People watch this video. I will never sing again. Please watch our videos.
Carry on our wayward son. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Carry on.
Good line when you're done. Lay your weary bones to rest.
Oh my gosh.
You won't go 8-8.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Kerryon Johnson was last year really what a lot of people in Detroit and across the league were thinking was the future of Detroit's running game. This year they went out and drafted one of, if not the most talented guy in the draft, DeAndre Swift. Is this a replacement?
Johnson's pretty young. He's still fast enough. He can still catch. I think they go two-back.
Wow.
I mean, what's been the Lions' MO for the last 2 years?
We can't run the football?
No, copy the Patriots.
That's true.
That's what everybody's trying to do. Everybody's trying to copy the Patriots, and it's funny that Tampa Bay copied them better in one offseason than Detroit is like in the last few years.
We only got two guys.
But they've done everything they can to get them on defense. They got Patricia. They're signing all their old players who are old. What do they do on offense? What do the Patriots have on offense during their heyday? Yeah. Gronk and all the shifty backs who can catch passes, one of which was from Georgia. Yeah. They got T.J. Hawkinson. They got Kerryon Johnson. Now they've got their shifty running back from Georgia.
If you look at the Patriots Super Bowl team of Super Bowl 51, when you look at that team, Kerryon Johnson, he's the LeGarrette Blount.
Right.
And DeAndre Swift, he's your James White.
Right.
I didn't think of it that way. The thing that I was really thinking about is the Lions haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, that helps.
In years, if I'm not mistaken, since Barry Sanders
I think that the way
retired early. So,
the way I look at it for Detroit is that I think that you guys used all your running back luck on Barry Sanders.
Yeah,
you were saving it up, right? You were saving it up,
early.
and now you're paying for it afterwards.
I think
in terms of running back luck, but I 100% agree with Ben.
Yeah,
they go two back because really what this is preparing for if Kerryon Johnson gets hurt again.
Yeah.
Because that's been the problem. He's only 22.
Yeah.
You're not replacing him.
No.
He's got plenty of years on his contract.
And they're two different running
Is he
backs.
still on
I'm
his
not
rookie
worried.
contract?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, great.
I don't think they.
Great. It's wonderful. Cool.
But I don't think that you're replacing Kerryon Johnson. You go two back, and it's two different backs with probably they can use them with their two different skill sets, and you're really just adding depth to a position that you haven't had depth at for a very long time.
Yeah, and they're two very different running backs.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Guys, the Lions passed on Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry was a second-round pick, guys.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Just let that sink in.
All right, here's another one. Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. What do you think?
I think the Colts have realized that they've got a good offensive line. And what was the Colts' weakness on offense this last year? Quarterback. They had a humongous Andrew Luck-sized hole in their offense.
Yeah.
I think they realize, okay, we've got this great offensive line who can block the
Yeah.
run. Jonathan Taylor's here, who's like, you had like Dobbins, Hilaire, Swift. They're like the pass catching shifty back. Jonathan Taylor is gonna run it down your throat.
Yeah.
Jonathan, his game is, he's really fast too. He put on a show in Indy, so I think they're hoping for more of that. I think they just want to run the ball down your throats. They've got a good defense. Chew up possession, wear defensive down, win games like that. I think a few teams are going for plans like that. The Colts have a really good position to do it.
The Colts are trying to win games now.
Yes.
So I agree with Ben. Marlon Mack is not being replaced. Marlon Mack was a very good back to them last year. He was good.
Marlon Mack's good.
Marlon Mack was a great back to them. And, I don't think that they're saying, okay, Marlon, you're done. In comes Jonathan Taylor. No, they're going to use both of them.
Right.
Probably helping out both players in the process, because if you use the running back less, your yards per carry tend to go up because he's fresher per carry.
Exactly.
And I think that that's just what they're trying to do. They're trying to improve their team right now, and they're trying to win games right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
100% agree with you guys. Don't really
good. have
have much to add.
Right.
They have one of, if not the best offensive line in football.
Yeah,
so it's a line that you can run behind.
Just say, okay, Quentin, you go there. You follow the monster wearing 56.
Yeah. All right. This one's a little bit different. We got three guys in this conversation. The New York Jets drafted running back LaMichael Perrin.
P. Ryan from Florida.
P. Ryan.
Solid back. That's a good pick.
In the fourth round.
That's a good pick. I want the Steelers to get him. I was mad.
They picked up in free agency Frank Gore, and they already had Le'Veon Bell.
Can we just make a sitcom out of the backs of the Jets called 2.5 Backs? Can we just do that? Frank Gore I think Frank Gore might just be trying to play in every team. Like the 30-day, 30 ballpark thing. Frank Gore's trying to do the 30 years, 32 teams. Or 32 years. Just let the old guy have fun, I say.
Yeah, I mean, it is true because he played with Buffalo. Yeah.
The Dolphins.
And the Dolphins.
Scotty. The
And
Patriots
the
and Scotty's
He's
like,
going to New England next year. I mean.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we're at the point where if Frank Gore comes to your door and says, "Hey, can I play with you guys?" or something like that, like you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
you teach. I mean, he's making a tour around the NFL, teaching all the other running backs how to run the football.
Yeah.
Rule number one.
He's going to be coming in with a cane one day.
Le'Veon Bell will teach him how to not get injured all the time. Let's call him 2.5 ACLs.
All right. But frankly, I don't think Frank Gore or LaMichael P. Ryan are coming in to replace Le'Veon Bell, even though Le'Veon Bell had a more of a down year last year to his standards, which still was a decent year.
And that surprised nobody.
Yeah, he was behind a much worse offensive line and on a much worse
really
team.
good for the Jets.
Yeah,
I think that the Jets did a good job going out and getting linemen, and I think that these backs aren't meant to replace Le'Veon Bell. They're meant to help him.
They're meant
because
to
Le'Veon
help
Bell.
him, yeah.
Well, I mean, long as Adam Gase is in charge, they might be. Adam Gase did not want Le'Veon Bell there. Don't forget, he was like furious when they got him. Like, why do you have him? I don't want him here.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
because he got hired after Le'Veon
Right,
Bell.
Le'Veon
was
Bell
signed.
might be in danger of getting. I say it like it's a bad thing. The Jets are going to trade him. Oh no!
Yeah,
I love playing behind the Jets' offensive line.
Yeah, but frankly, I don't think it's a smart move for New York to replace Le'Veon Bell because even though he had a down year, he's one of the better running backs in the NFL.
Right.
And
I think we saw what he can do when he was with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and I think that even though he didn't fully do that last year, I don't think he lived up to his potential. He was still solid.
Yeah.
And I think that these two backs are being put in to help limit his carries so that maybe he can get more yards per carry. They're keeping, instead of using him every down of every game, they're going to keep him fresh, and then he's going to be able to do more per play.
Which is great because Le'Veon Bell is also injury prone. And you need that. And Le'Veon Bell, we're like, and he hit it down here. He was still good. And he was good. He was playing against the turnstiles known as the Jets' offensive line.
Yeah.
Like those little revolving gate things you have at subway stations. That's what the Jets' offensive line was. I mean, you can't really hold it again. I mean, I will because he took less money to play for the Jets, and I'm a salty Steeler fan. So I will laugh at him. But, I mean, it's not really his fault that he had to play with Sam Darnold when he wasn't getting sick and seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
And behind the Jets. So, yeah. I think
Sam Darnold got mono.
Yeah.
I still cannot believe
the
that.
funniest thing. hey! I mean, they got the elite Joe Flacco in there now to teach Sam Darnold how to win Super Bowls off a strong defense and checking down.
Yeah, Cam Newton is sitting out there somewhere like,
What do I have to?
Joe Flacco got signed before me.
Cam Newton is sitting in his house like, is it the hat?
But I think that we saw what the Jets were capable of in the first half against Buffalo.
Yeah, they
blew
were
that
good
lead,
for one
but
half. And then they
one
were the
half of
Jets.
football, we saw what they were capable of. If they can just bring that out, I think that they can do some good stuff this year. I'm not saying they will, but I think that they have the potential.
Yeah,
agreed.
They were good for one half. Sucked.
They were good for one half, and it all went downhill.
Until they had to play the Steelers.
I mean, they did score 34 points in 3 straight games. And I don't mean like over 34 points. They scored exactly 34 points in
like
3
over
straight
the 3
games,
straight games,
which had never been done before.
Wait, like 34
Credit to
points,
them.
then 34 points, and 34 points, or like 17,
No.
then 7. Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, I mean.
It's 34, 34, 34.
Okay, I was about, wow.
It's pretty crazy.
Who'd have
all right,
thought?
We're gonna move backfields. We're going to the AFC West, where we got Denver, and
Our resident Broncos expert.
Cole asked me not to include Philip Lindsay in this list, but they've got 3 running backs now: Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, and Royce Freeman. What do you guys think?
I'm not going to say much because I know Cole's the Broncos expert, but I think Royce Freeman will lose because he doesn't have the crazy hair. Melvin Ingram had Melvin Ingram. They signed the linebacker. They signed the linebacker too. Melvin Gordon has like the dreads that he wore up. Philip Lindsay has the afro and the headband. Royce Freeman has short hair. Royce Freeman will lose because of hair. Cole, take it away.
I asked you not to include Philip Lindsay's because this is going to be the split backfield. This is one of the better tandems in the NFL between Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. I think they're going to split carries pretty evenly. Yeah. And they have a similar skill set, too. They're both running backs that can go out of the backfield and catch passes. Now, Royce Freeman he's basically out of the offense, for lack of a better term, because where are you going to use him now?
Yeah.
Like, I think that this is a situation where Royce Freeman, you have been replaced.
Should he stay with the hairstylist?
And to kind of build off of that, when Melvin Gordon was in Los Angeles this past year, Austin Eckler became more the pass down guy.
Right.
And Melvin Gordon, even though he held out for most of this season, was successful when he wasn't catching passes. He was still successful. And he was still...
Yeah, and Denver can use him in that role and use Philip Lindsay in the Austin Eckler role.
Exactly what I was saying. Yep.
Yeah, it's been dominated by big running backs.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
All right. On to Baltimore. We got the old fella, Mark Ingram.
Big trust.
And J.K. Dobbins. What do you guys think?
He's going to be called Lil Judes for Lil Judas. I mean, I don't know if it's so much Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's skill set isn't really catching the ball. It's Lamar Jackson. When does Lamar Jackson throw short?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar Jackson's the number one running back on that team. Mark Ingram's number 2, but he's a hammerhead. Mark Ingram's a bruiser.
Yeah.
He's like Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
His game is he's just going to run at you, and he's going to hit you, and he's going to get up. And after 4 quarters, you better be able to get up because he is. Dobbins, he can run with power, but he's another one of those shifty guys. Ohio State, they threw the ball a lot with Fields, and throwing it out of the backfield helps. So I wonder more about Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards might be the replacement here. And as a Steelers fan, Gus Edwards was really, he was sneakily good.
Not last year, of course, because that was when they had Mark Ingram, but the year before they had Mark Ingram, right?
Right.
Gus Edwards played extremely well in the last 4 games of the season. At the point where in fantasy football, I was starting him on a weekly basis.
Gus Edwards is sneakily good.
Because at the beginning of that year, we thought it was going to be Alex Collins, who was the big guy in the backfield, and that tanked very hard, very fast in that season. Right. So Gus Edwards worked his way to the top of the depth chart, and he was playing very well when Lamar Jackson got put in the option place. And I think that Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards were a good tandem last year. This is more the Ravens building for the future because Ingram was drafted in 2011. He's going into this is going to be his 9th or 10th year in the NFL, right? Yeah.
That's why I said the old fella.
He's getting old. That's the bottom line. There's going to be a point where he's not going to have much left in the tank. Right. J.K. Dobbins is going to step up. So this is going to be a great tandem for these next few years. But when that time comes, the Ravens are going to be okay because of the pick they just made.
Right. And nothing will make me lose more sleep than that fact. Thanks for that, Cole.
All right. So now that we've talked about running backs, let's get to as Ben would call it, the sexy position.
Running backs are sexy positions. The not sexy positions are offensive linemen.
We're talking about the sexiest position, as Ben would call it.
The super sexy position.
Yes.
This is the super sexy position.
Let's talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about me. That's why we were doing sexy. Okay.
Let's start with 2 guys who probably won't be starters this year. Or 3 guys, actually. 3 guys who probably won't be stars this year. But they might be the QB of the future for the franchise that drafted them. So let's talk about Jordan Love in Green Bay.
Not sexy.
Jalen Hurts.
Not sexy.
Jalen Hurts in Philly. And Justin Herbert.
Mildly sexy.
So let's start with
Hey, he's got the long. I'm not a big long hair guy, but he wears it well with his headband. He wears it well.
All right, let's talk about Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I've heard this joke a million times, so it's not mine. Don't copyright me, whoever made it. Please don't copyright us. Sponsor us, please. I'm sure. Get ready for this, guys, because I know you've heard it 100 times too. If you know who these guys are. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to treat Jordan Love just like family.
Yeah.
Brett Favre is just sitting at home on his ranch. He does it like a Zen position. Has a mastery way moment. He's like, the circle is now complete. Aaron Rodgers is like, well, I left you. I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah.
All the fans are like, only a master of evil, Darth.
Yeah.
Don't sue us.
The obvious thing here is Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than almost anybody in the league.
Or in the world.
Yeah.
In the world, yeah. You're not gonna start a rookie over Aaron Rodgers.
In the sexiest position, Aaron Rodgers is in the top sexy tier.
But
can you just imagine Aaron Rodgers with the clipboard and the little earpiece in?
Not sexy.
On the sideline.
Not sexy.
But I do have a few things to say about Aaron Rodgers.
Keep going.
Aaron Rodgers is kind of a diva.
Kind of. Whoa, we're gonna start another Twitter war.
Yeah, he likes to be basically the coach of his team.
Really?
You know, he forced Mike McCarthy out of Green Bay.
Mike McCarthy is eating powdered donuts right now, and he's like, "Yes, thank you. Somebody agrees with me."
You know, he's basically coaching that team right now. So to me, that's not the type of guy you want to have on your team,
No.
especially when he's taking so much money and he's getting older. So, I think the idea is, and Aaron Rodgers isn't going to like this, but the idea is maybe they have Aaron Rodgers start for 2-3 more years with Jordan Love behind him.
Right.
But at some point in the future, even though Rodgers is going to be the better quarterback than Love, they're going to say, all right, Rodgers, we're trading you.
Yeah, we're going to trade you.
We're going to trade you. We're going to take more salary room. We're going to build around Jordan Love. We're going to try and win a Super Bowl with him because he's younger and cheaper. And he's not a diva.
The irony is
while I see your point there, it's Aaron Rodgers. And the only reason why Aaron Rodgers got his chance is because Brett Favre retired.
Yeah.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers.
And then after Brett Favre retired, they basically made it clear to Aaron Rodgers that you are the starting quarterback for this year. Then when he tried to come back, they said, hey, we're rolling with Aaron. Yeah. We've already told them that he's our starter. We're going to roll with them, which I don't think was necessarily the worst decision they've ever made.
No.
I think it actually worked out pretty well.
They won a Super Bowl.
But the big thing is that they are not – I don't think that they're going to trade Aaron Rodgers unless he gives them a better reason to, because right now with what he's done for that franchise, with how the fans love him.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the mutiny that would happen?
Yeah,
if they traded Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
they could never do that.
Yes, ownership.
The Green Bay Packers
will go to war with each other.
They would disown them.
Yeah. Can they?
There would be. I mean, I cannot imagine them doing that.
Can you
even
disown
4 years down the road? I think they let Rodgers go out on his own terms, and then Love can come in.
I think
when that time comes.
The only thing that I think about with that is I don't see Aaron Rodgers being the type of guy that, like Brett Favre, will retire and then come back. I see Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to come back. I'm just saying, like, when Aaron Rodgers does decide to call it a career, Love is ready.
I think then it might be a smart move to draft for the future early, but you see with like New England, they drafted Jimmy Garoppolo and trained him for the future, but Brady wasn't ready to retire when Garoppolo was ready to start playing. And it didn't work out
that was
well
the comparison I was actually about to make. This seemingly is like Garoppolo and Brady, and we all know how that ended. Brady stuck around after Garoppolo, and I think that this is a similar situation.
Yeah, and really it worked out for New England. They won Super Bowls with Brady after Garoppolo left. But the big thing is New England's in a really bad spot right now, and we'll talk about that in a bit. A much worse spot than they would be in if they had Garoppolo. And I'm not saying that I think they should trade Aaron Rodgers right now. I just think that maybe in the future Aaron Rodgers asks for more money or a bigger contract or has another kind of drama incident as he did with the whole McCarthy situation. And then the idea is that Green Bay's, you're not worth the money and the trouble anymore for how good you are.
Here's the way I look at it. Is like, I don't think another drama situation is going to be enough to drive him out of town. I think that a drama situation combined with it being the end of that big contract would be enough for them to say, Aaron, we're just not going to offer you another deal.
That's I don't think
depending on how much his play declines. Right now, I haven't seen that decline to say that it's going to happen, but it happens with most quarterbacks. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be any different. The decline will happen eventually, and if that decline does happen, coinciding with his contract ending, then I don't know if they offer him another deal and they can just say, Jordan Love, you're our guy.
And
that's the other alternative.
The other thing is Aaron Rodgers, as Ben was saying, is kind of injury prone. He had the collarbone injury. He had the knee injury.
And he's getting older.
He's getting older,
Yeah.
I
personally think,
he
and
takes
I think that's
of
why you draft Jordan. That's another reason why you draft Jordan.
Yeah,
you have a reliable backup
in the
to
past,
fill in.
In the past, when the Packers have put in their backups, it hasn't worked out the best for them. So
I think the last reliable backup that they had was Matt Flynn, and that was back in 2011. So. No offense to Brett Hundley. I mean, Brett Hundley, he filled in admirably. I don't think we can expect too much for the position he was put in, but he wasn't good. He wasn't good enough to win 10 games with that team.
Yeah, and neither was Deshaun Kaiser.
Brett Hundley almost lost to the Browns. Don't forget.
Yeah.
I personally think that a couple years, Aaron will want money. The Packers will say no. They will trade him to the Jets.
No, they won't trade him. He'll leave.
He'll go to the Jets somehow.
No, New England.
No.
New England.
No, just trust me. He'll go to the Jets, thus doing half of the Brett Favre saga, and everybody will point out the irony that he went from having his quarterback there be named Love to going to a team with a quarterback who's notorious for kissing people. Everyone will point out the irony, and you heard it here first on the Predominantly Football Podcast. Please subscribe.
All right.
If this happens, you have to come back and like and subscribe, comment. Oh my God, he was right.
All right. I think we're going to move on to the next quarterback on this list.
You're just dumbfounded by that. You're just like, out of this topic.
And this one's a little bit different. Carson Wentz is a pretty injury-prone guy, but he's much younger than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He was drafted as the quarterback of the future only a few years ago, which makes me think that this one.
And they traded up to draft him too. So
yeah,
they're sticking with him.
This one has a little bit of a different impact. Why is Jalen Hurts being brought into Philadelphia?
Because they saw what Lamar Jackson did with the elite Joe Flacco. Boom. It's a perfect mirror story. Both teams are in the Northeast. They have a bird as their mascot. Their quarterback went to a small school, be it North Dakota State or Delaware. Scott, did you know Joe Flacco went to Delaware?
Yep.
This guy's like, what's Delaware?
He actually
what's
went
to Delaware?
I've been to Delaware, man. I used to
have?
live in Pennsylvania.
What was it? Was Delaware like the size of like this room?
No, I used to go to swim meets in Delaware because they had we would go to states and regionals in Pennsylvania, and then once we did well enough at states, we would go to Delaware.
So you were like a state caliber swimmer.
Yeah.
Dang.
At in third grade.
Hats off to Scotty.
Woo!
Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
But yeah,
swimming like 30-second freestyles in third grade.
So you have your quarterback who went to a small school, has won a Super Bowl with a really good defense. Then you draft a quarterback who recently won the Heisman, wore red. They're much more mobile. They're not known so much for their arm, as much as they are for their legs.
Carson Wentz is pretty mobile.
I'm talking about the backup.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Carson Wentz is pretty mobile too.
Yeah. And they're going to use.
I think it's worth pointing out that Joe Flacco's first touchdown was a 28-yard run. But, that's a little ironic.
Well,
but.
That's pretty funny. Joe Flacco slides worse than me. Just watch the highlights of Joe Flacco sliding. Every time his knee pad, it looks like, oh my goodness, his leg broke in two. Oh no, that's just his knee pad.
The big thing that I'm thinking about with your comparison, Ben, is that Joe Flacco was kind of not the best quarterback when they drafted Lamar
What are you
Jackson.
talking about?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's elite. He's elite.
And I would say he was still a serviceable starter.
Hey, word of the day. Everybody's screaming.
But Carson Wentz is a high-end starter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's top end. He's
Yeah, when that guy's on the field and healthy, it's not many people you'd rather have.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Which makes me think that it can't be that they're replacing him. They can't be replacing him.
Exactly. I think
And
It's Pennsylvania. They can't.
Yeah, I'm really confused why they drafted. Yeah, I'm really confused why they drafted Jalen Hurts because, like we talked about earlier, Carson Wentz is much younger than Rodgers. He's not going to need to be replaced in a few years. He doesn't have the controversy around him like Rodgers does, and yeah, to me it doesn't even make sense.
This is like the Joe Flacco Lamar Jackson situation, except it's been expedited by about 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think that the way I look at it is that why did the Eagles draft Jalen Hurts when Jameis Winston was on the market? When guys like Jameis Winston were on the market when before the draft.
Yeah, but
they could have gotten him as their backup like New Orleans did.
Could have got Cam.
But
They could have gotten Cam.
That
Yeah,
would've been
Joe
great.
Flacco
We
was
spent
out there.
Heisman,
There are a lot of guys
runner.
that were serviceable backup quarterbacks that are threats to replace your starter.
Hey, Cole said serviceable.
once again, I don't think that. Whenever I try to think of Carson Wentz being replaced, I just can't because he's so good.
Right.
He was in the MVP talks before he got hurt.
Say that again.
That's true.
Before he got hurt.
Prone.
He
is
gets
an
hurt.
Yep.
He gets hurt. Carson Wentz gets hurt a lot. The Eagles are not the same team if Carson Wentz is hurt.
Yeah, and they don't have Nick Foles to bail them out again. They learned that last year.
You think it's
Jacksonville learned that the hard way.
Jacksonville did learn that.
so? You think they drafted Nick Foles? They drafted a quarterback to back up Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz is injury prone. So they're drafting to be protected if Carson Wentz gets hurt.
It's certainly. I don't know if it's the main reason, but it's certainly not. It's something you got to consider.
Yeah.
I mean,
makes
I
sense.
think that the way I look at it is why else would they do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I can't, like, I'm sure that there's, like, we don't know what they were thinking, obviously, but it's like, I can't think of another reason as to why they would do that.
Oh man.
I was like, were they thinking Sky's like according to EDP? No, I was thinking. I didn't know if I was gonna say something about that. I'm just glad that they took him, so the Steelers didn't. I didn't want to take draft him.
Yeah, I wanted Patriots to take from.
I was like, don't take Jalen Hurts.
All right. So now we're going to talk about a guy who was drafted in the top 10, Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
High draft pick, yet all three of us agree that he shouldn't start this year.
No,
And there's one
I mean,
reason
I
why
wouldn't say necessarily this year, but definitely not week one, maybe not even. I think that if it comes to the time where it's a lost season, right?
then put him in, let him play.
Yeah.
Or if
Yeah,
you're
let
in the
him
Kansas
play,
City Chiefs
but-
scenario with Mahomes as a rookie. I mean, he
Yeah.
throws a lot of comparisons to Mahomes. He's got a good arm. He throws for a lot of yards. He's inconsistent. He needs time to sit to season behind a solid veteran quarterback. But if they lock something up where like this season comes to garbage, yeah, let him play.
Yeah, and
Let him play.
I think a big comparison between him and Patrick Mahomes is when
Hair. The hair.
sure.
Patrick
The air raid
Mahomes
system.
said at one point that he didn't figure out how to read an NFL defense until halfway through this past year,
Yeah.
which is kind of a Justin Herbert thing to
Right.
have happen. That Justin Herbert is a very talented player, but he doesn't really make the best
Right.
decisions and he doesn't really understand
Yes.
defenses.
Colt, what is this will be prevalent in a second. What do the Broncos fans say at home whenever they're like when say Justin Herbert misses a receiver by 10 yards? What would you
Misses
guys
the
say?
receiver by 10 yards.
What would you say when the ball hits the ground after he throws it?
Incomplete.
Exactly. Why is Justin Herbert not going to play? Consistency. Yay!
Yeah, you
That's
remember
why.
that guy on the buses to school in 6th grade that would always play that stick man football game, and anytime it was incomplete, the two of us would bully him for being a Broncos
I
fan
remember that.
by yelling incomplete.
I do remember.
Oh, I had that happen to me.
I wish,
That's all
you
right.
hadn't-
so
I wish
funny.
you hadn't said bully. 'cause
Not
that's gonna be
original.
on the internet. When one of us is running for president, Scotty, they're going to dig that up.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's proof that Ben Prano was a bully in 6th grade.
I was gonna say
He laughed.
Then again, we were both 6th graders, and this guy was in 8th grade, and he was telling us that we could go to stores and buy. I remember him telling us we could go to 7-Eleven and buy season tickets to our favorite teams for $5 at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, this dude.
And I'm like, this guy's playing the hell out of us.
Yeah,
So funny.
Yeah. So it's all about inconsistency. There will be the Colorado game. I've watched film episodes on him. I watched one on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. This dude I like.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to shout him out?
Who?
His name is Brett Coleman. I say you guys should watch him all the time. Watch Brett Coleman if you like football. The dude's a
Okay.
genius. Not sponsored by Brett Coleman, although I wish he would sponsor us. He gets sponsors. But the Colorado game, he lights up the field. Colorado's got a bad defense, but it's hard to light up a team, even if they're a bad defense. But there are some teams or games where he looks really bad. Games like Utah and USC, I think, where he plays poorly. He misses reads. He doesn't throw at the right time. Herbert's not ready.
No.
Herbert's going to draw. I mean, you heard it here first. Where he's going to draw a lot of comparisons to Mahomes, I think, because he's got a good arm, inconsistent at times, high draft pick when some people think he shouldn't. He likes to make plays out of the pocket, and he's got some nice flow. But he should not be playing.
All right. So now we're going to move on from the quarterbacks who we don't think are going to play week 1 to the quarterback or to the teams that have a decision to make. The Packers and the Eagles don't really have a tough decision right now.
No.
You know, you stick with Carson Wentz and you stick with Aaron Rodgers.
Until Carson Wentz gets hurt.
We do have 2 quarterback competitions, though. In Chicago, is Nick Foles going to come in and is he going to take Mitchell Trubisky's job? Who do you think is going to win out and why?
Well, I can tell you who's going to lose.
Who?
Whoever has to watch the Bears 16 games a year. Jeez Louise. Well, in the spirit of fairness and wanting to talk, let's think. Nick Foles came off a broken collarbone.
Yeah.
The injury that Aaron Rodgers had. Aaron Rodgers came back and played well because
He's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. Nick Foles is no longer Big Nick. He's not anymore. He is not that good. Jacksonville exposed him for sucking. Mitch Trubisky, one could argue that college exposed him for not playing well. Not sucking per se, but not playing well. Remember when Matt Nagy was an offensive genius? Remember that? When he was like he was revolutionary, you know, like the Sean McVay thing. Anybody who had coffee at the same table 2 years later as Sean McVay needed to be signed.
Yeah.
That's what Matt Nagy was. But then they stopped running the football.
Yeah.
They stopped using Cohen, and they were not good. David Montgomery's solid, and I think they're going to roll with him a lot. But it is not going to be pretty.
All right, Ben, you haven't answered the question, though. Who's winning out and why?
Who cares? Nick Foles is a name, and the Bears fans will not want Trubisky to play because he also has a name and not a good one. Nick Foles does have experience of winning close games at Soldier Field with a little help from Cody Parkey. Oh, man, if I had to decide...
No, I'm saying like double doink.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't care. It's going to be boring. I'm glad I don't have to watch the Bears much.
I mean, I think that
Nick Foles, why not? He's done things.
I think this is the most intriguing one that we have this year by far. I
for
think
better or for worse.
This is like the biggest toss up because either one could do it, and it's hard to say now because it's going to rely a lot on what the coaches. Obviously, this is like obvious stuff. It's going to rely on what the coaches see in training camp and preseason games. That's all going to factor heavily into it. And I think that right now it's as open as a quarterback competition as it gets. Like with a lot of quarterback competitions, you say, "Oh, this guy's the favorite." I don't think you could really say that with this particular quarterback competition.
Yeah, they're both the least.
There's the argument that the Bears will start Trubisky out of loyalty.
Yeah.
And the Foles is just there to put pressure on him. That's what some people will say. Some people say that the Bears believe that they can win now, and they believe that Foles has won. You know, he's won a Super Bowl, and they think he's the guy that can get it done. I don't really know what they're gonna do. It's one of the tightest quarterback competitions that I can remember in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Definitely tighter than one last year. My gut says, I think that Foles is the better quarterback.
I agree.
I think that if Nick Foles is in there, I think that he gives them more chances to win football games than Mitchell Trubisky does.
Yeah.
However, Mitchell Trubisky has shown a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Because
he's
gotten them down into field goal range when they've needed to last year, whether Cody Parkey made or missed that field goal. You know?
Yeah.
We don't know whether Edwin Pinheiro made or missed that field goal happened sometimes. It didn't happen other times.
Happened a lot.
Of course, he misses like the 46-yarder against the Chargers and makes a 53-yarder against the Broncos. But, oh well.
People just have it out
But-
for Cole.
I do think Nick Foles is the guy because the bottom line is that I think that he has the experience in the big games. He plays very well in the big games, and I think the Bears are going to need to win a lot of big games in order to make a playoff push. And they especially have a shot this year because of that 7th seed opening up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say the Vikings are in that division too.
All
right.
So I was gonna say.
Question. I got a quick question for the hurry up. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, really, I think it's Trubisky's job to lose. I think week 1 the Bears are gonna go with Trubisky because he's been their guy, and they're gonna see which Mitchell Trubisky it is. Is it gonna be the Mitchell Trubisky who people make jokes about, like, hey, in coronavirus, you got to stay as far apart as Mitchell Trubisky throws the ball from his receivers, right? That's the jokes that we hear about Mitchell Trubisky. Is it that Mitchell Trubisky, or is it going to be the guy who
They won things.
had a competition against the Patriots? He put that defense in a spin cycle. He ran all over them, and that's a good defense, one of the best in the NFL. Which Mitchell Trubisky is it going to be? I think they gave him 4 weeks to prove himself. If he does, he's a starter.
Right.
If he doesn't, they put in
Sit down.
Nick Foles.
You don't get a 5th year.
Yeah.
Sky.
I mean,
So
I think that, definitely that Patriots defense they were referencing, they won the Super Bowl that year. So, but I think that the bottom line is that, they're not. It's a tight leash. It's a very tight leash. If he screws up, right? I don't know if they give him 4 weeks. For context, we have this little season going in Madden, and I'm the GM of the Bears. I gave him 2.
Yeah. They might give him
He
4
threw
quarters.
2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. I said, nope, you're done.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Nick Foles won his next 2 games. So, so far that one's worked out for me. But I think the leash is very, very tight, and I don't even know if he starts week 1. He might start week 1 out of loyalty. Because saying we picked you 2nd overall, so we're going to give you one last shot.
Yeah.
But I think the leash is incredibly tight, and if he keeps turning the ball over, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I also think that it's a matter of how they use him. Because I feel like that they were keeping him contained a little bit, and they were trying to get him to be a pocket passer. So if they let him run around a bit, it might be a different result.
So I think Javi Baez has an outside shot to start for the Bears. All right, Sky. So what would you say is the Mitch Trubisky's number 1 problem?
Inconsistency.
Did it wrong with you.
Whatever.
You're saying wheel of crap. Don't get sued.
Shush.
Monetary earnings.
Shush.
I didn't get
my
sued. We
goodness.
didn't get sued. All right.
All right.
Walking the tightrope.
We gotta pick up the pace a little bit here.
Yes. Hurry up early.
Down in Miami, we got another battle. Does Tua beat out Fitz?
I think no, because they're worried about him getting injured again, and the Dolphins' offensive line still has problems. Will he beat out Josh Rosen? I think is a bit more of an interesting question, and I don't know, but you got to feel for Josh Rosen.
Yeah.
He's been put into 2 horrible scenarios. He hasn't played. Granted, he hasn't really elevated the teams to be better.
No, but he's been in bad
situations. He's been in some bad situations.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing we agree on this podcast, it's that you can't just judge quarterbacks based on the stats. There's always a deeper story.
Yeah. I agree. I think Fitz is their starter for a while.
Right.
They make sure Tua is healthy and
he
ready
can
to go. But once they're 100% sure on Tua, I think he's going straight into the offense because there's a reason why they drafted him.
Right. That and it's an adjustment for the tackles too, since he's left-handed.
Yeah. Okay.
Projected it from blindside.
So this is shifting gears a little bit. Sorry, Cole. You have a point? Sorry.
I
was just going to say that I agree with you guys. I think that Fitzpatrick is your week 1 starter and that the injuries are a concern. But I think that Tua does have a shot to start this year. I think that if he just balls out, like if he plays so well, even if there's that concern, I think that if he just plays really well, then Miami is going to put him in because the king is gone. That's the bottom line Brady's gone.
Oh,
So it's the Dolphins' turn and it's the Bills' turn to step up and take it. Right now, the Bills are the favorites, but if Miami thinks that they have a shot, maybe win 9 games, then they're going to put them in there.
He will play because they played a lot with Rosen and Fitzpatrick. I don't know if he'll start week 1, but he will play some just because of that ankle.
Shifting gears a little bit,
How many times
like
did you
I
say
tried
that?
to say earlier.
New transition.
Okay, shifting gears.
Yeah. If you're rewatch this and take a shot every time he says shifting gears.
I've only said it. Well, now I've said it a lot more, but I had only said it twice.
Within like the last 3
I think you're on about 7 now.
Yeah. Either that or serviceable.
All right. Across the league, some teams drafted and signed new starters where there's not as much competition. All right. Let's start in the AFC East, going alphabetically here. Brady left, and according to multiple sources, Belichick wants to go with Stidham as the starter. What are your expectations for him in the starting role? And Cole, what do you think about this? Because you told me you think Hoyer has a little bit of competition to give Stidham.
Hoyer
I do think he has a little bit of competition to give him, and that's mostly because of what I've heard that Brian Hoyer was told when he signed the contract to go with the Patriots. Brian Hoyer got better offers from other teams, but New England offered him the contract to come back, and they basically said, you're going to be able to compete.
Right.
You have a shot to go and win the starting job. Do I think it's Stidham's job to lose? Yeah, it is Stidham's job to lose. But it wouldn't be too surprising if week 1, Brian Hoyer is the quarterback for the New England Patriots. I think that, Jared Stidham is the top choice. I think that unlike the Bears quarterback situation, there is a front runner. But I think that Hoyer does have a shot.
For me, there's a couple sides to this. I mean, speaking of only Stidham, I think Stidham has a good shot because I say it all the time. They can attest that Belichick adapts his scheme incredibly well to fit his talent. So I think Stidham will have a chance of that. But, I mean, Brian Hoyer is not a scrub. No. This is Hoyer the Destroyer. This guy beat the Steelers a few years ago with some of those horrible Browns teams, and it still pisses me off that he did that. Hoyer, he's not horrible. He can go out and he can play. He's done stuff in the past. He's not
trust me, I know.
And Scotty, the diehard Patriots fan, called him Ryan Stidham the other night, and he didn't realize. And we're like, "Who's that?" Like Ryan Stidham. You don't know who that is?
I got mixed up because of Brian Hoyer.
Does he have like a cousin or no? He's the Patriots guy. Ryan. Oh yeah, Jared. It's not going to be good. I'm in football.
Well, as a Patriots fan, I've actually seen Stidham play in a real game. He's thrown one pass in an NFL game.
Preseason?
No.
Regular season?
One pass in a regular season game. Pick 6 against the Jets. Yeah. But
that helped me out in fantasy football because I had Jamal Adams going.
Yeah, I had Jamal Adams too. I was like cheering. I was like, yes, Stidham. But frankly, I don't like the guy because I don't trust him. But at the same time, in Belichick we trust. I'm not questioning him. He's the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion. So.
What about Rex Ryan Stidham?
All right, we're gonna move on because
yay!
we took a long time on
you learned a new transition.
These early stuff. So we're gonna move on to the next quarterback, who's most likely gonna start Week 1, Joe Burrow.
I watched the Bengals a lot. Ryan Finley played against the Steelers, so I was able to see him. I think, will he probably start Week 1? No. Odds of that aren't great. But I don't think it's Joe Burrow's automatic job. I think there's a good chance that Finley could start a game or two early in the season, almost like what they did with Baker Mayfield. Burrow will play most of the year, but I think a lot of people are counting Finley out, and I don't know about that. He didn't play horribly against the good Steelers defense. He put some points up, so I will give him that. Honestly.
I mean, the way I look at it is that the only way that Ryan Finley is a young guy. What is this, his second or third year, right?
Yeah.
He's basically the only way that you draft a guy in the first round in general and start a second or third year guy is if that second or third year guy won like 8 games for you last year. That's the only way that I've seen that work, is if that that guy can win games for you, or you think he can. What I saw from Ryan Finley, was it horrible? Like, was it atrocious? No, it wasn't, but it didn't win them games. And like, that's not all on him. The Bengals were not a good team last year.
It's all about the system.
But if you're going to start that guy, you're doing it because you think he can win. If you don't think he can win, then you might as well just put your rookie in there.
So he was serviceable.
I wouldn't go, maybe not quite serviceable from what I saw, but you probably saw more, so I think your opinion's better on his play than mine.
I mean,
but from what I remember last year, it just wasn't it wasn't amazing.
Andy Dalton was fairly serviceable too, so we'll find out.
Andy Dalton was serviceable, yeah. Like, and also that's the other thing. I think that if you had plans to not start Joe Burrow week 1, despite Andy Dalton's request, you would have kept Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
All right, let me see who we got next, because I agree. I think, Cole, you're 100% correct, but I do think they drafted him number 1 overall.
Yeah,
right?
So he'll play.
All right, so Ben just showed me an idea he has for the title, Cole, and everybody who's listening. If the title of this video is "Salute to Serviceability," I swear Ben paid me if that's the name of the video.
It's so good. It would be better on Memorial Day. Come on, guys.
Oh my god.
Come on, guys. That's a good name.
All right.
That is actually a really
That's a good one.
We can talk about this once we stop recording.
Yeah. If it's not right, what could have been in the chat? Watch the video too, guys.
Phillip Rivers.
Hopefully they're still here.
Is now the quarterback of a different franchise. He's in Indianapolis now. What does this mean for the Colts?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Phillip Rivers still lived in San Diego and played for the Colts. Because, I mean, uprooting half the population of a city is probably quite the logistical issue. Like, I mean, San Diego didn't have the taxes to build the new stadium, or they just didn't feel like it. Now they're going to lose half of their taxpayers. I mean, the admissions will go down in San Francisco. I will say that.
San Francisco? San Diego.
Unrelated story. San Diego's carbon emissions will go down from all the cars they lose. And when the Rivers family flies out to Indianapolis, it's going to be like Flight of the Valkyries in the background. They're just on like their Air Force of flights. Da 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 da.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers has a lot.
Real estate agents in Indianapolis are very happy now. They get to build so many more houses. Honestly, I think he'll play. Jacoby Brissett was not impressive. Phillip Rivers wasn't particularly impressive.
No, he was pretty bad.
Yeah,
actually.
he was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
lots of interceptions last year.
I have a lot of Phillip Rivers experience.
The thing is, how many of those interceptions were him with a guy right to throw the ball quick? I mean,
I mean, they had a bad offensive line.
Right, yeah. So the Colts will help stabilize that. Maybe I mean, he likes to play in warm weather in San Diego. San Francisco.
I mean, it's a dome, so.
Yeah, I know. Indianapolis is a dome. That might help a bit. I don't know. There'll actually be home fans in Indianapolis. That can't hurt.
Yeah, there'll be crowd noise.
They'll be cheering for him. Can that really hurt? Yeah. I think he'll be fine. I hope he rebounds because I like Phillip Rivers. Will he be great?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, he as we said earlier, his job might just be hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it might be. Phillip Rivers didn't play horrible, except for one of the biggest ways you can play horrible, and that is interceptions.
Yeah.
He threw too many threw too many turnovers, and there are a lot of them were against the Denver Broncos. Thankfully, a big reason why the Broncos swept them was because of turnovers. And if that continues in Indianapolis, then it's not going to work because the Colts paid them that money,
right? Because
they believe that they have a team that can win, and they think Phillip Rivers is the guy to get him back to the postseason, especially because that division is pretty open.
Right. It's
Anybody could take that.
right. It's definitely a prove-it deal for Rivers.
Yeah.
I think it's good
Yeah,
that we're not busting on him too hard because there's a pretty high chance that one of our viewers is one of his descendants. Philip Rivers is like Adam, where we're all descendants of Philip Rivers in some way or another.
All right. So,
You know in B movie when they're like, she's your cousin. We're everybody's cousin. That's gonna be 20 years from now. Philip Rivers. He's my cousin. We're all cousins.
Moving on from Phillip Rivers, but not really. Tyrod Taylor is now the quarterback in Los Angeles, and he doesn't have the biggest shoes to fill, but his descendants have a lot of shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So, what are the implications for Los Angeles with Tyrod Taylor?
Be good enough where we're not horrible, but be bad enough where we can draft a good offensive lineman. Really, just teach Trevor Herbert. You heard it here. The Chargers win the Tank Bowl. Draft Trevor Lawrence. They do a fusion dance and become the ultimate quarterback. It has not been a good 10 minutes for names when he has it.
Ben's just getting everybody mixed up.
All the names wrong.
Ever since he got mad at me for saying.
Ever since I said Ben
was like getting mad at me.
Philip
for
Rivers
saying
is the
Ryan
best
Stanley.
quarterback to play in San Francisco. Wait. No, he's the best quarterback to play in, where do they play? Isn't it like Pittsburgh now?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
All right.
Might as well be Hawaii.
Philip Rivers.
So give Justin Herbert a better offensive
Here's
line,
my-
more chances to succeed.
Here's my take
I
on
was about to say, you
Tyrod
called him Trevor
Taylor.
Herbert, Nate.
Here's my take on Tyrod Taylor and the Chargers as a whole. Like, I actually disagree. I don't think that they have the team to win the Super Bowl, but I think that is their goal because they actually have a good amount of players that are coming into the final years of their contract.
Yeah.
I believe Joey Bosa is among those names, and maybe Keenan Allen. I know that there's some decent players, some important players that they have that were a big part of that playoff run that ended in Foxborough back in 2018. But I think that the Chargers are in the mood to win now, which is like I'm honestly surprised that they didn't go after Cam Newton after they could get Brady, because this is the year. Like this,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to pay all these guys. They have so many guys that they just cannot pay, and they're going to have to let some of them go.
And they're not good
And
enough.
this is
to
the last
demand-
year where you have the band together, and they're
they
going to
will.
try and do all they can with it. I don't know how much they can do with it with Tyrod Taylor at their quarterback. They can. I wouldn't be surprised if this team can win 9 games and go to the
Yeah, they
playoffs. I
can.
just don't know how far they'd be able to get once they
Yeah.
get.
And they need to do that if they want to keep the guys. They'll either do that or they'll say, you know what? We have a lot of guys we can't keep. We're a rebuilding team. Let's enter the Tank Bowl. Let's win the Tank Bowl and get Trevor Herbert, the greatest quarterback to ever
Justin Herbert.
the greatest quarterback to ever happen. They'll do like a 2 quarterback set. They'll make a new formation. Lawrence takes the snap, pitches back to Herbert, who throws it on a slant to Lawrence. It'll be the greatest offense in history.
They'll propose a rule where you're allowed to use 2 footballs in one play, and then they'll just draft 2 centers, and then that's how that's going to work.
I'm gonna disagree here. I'm gonna say, although he's definitely not the quarterback of the future, I really like Tyrod Taylor. He has a huge upside in the few years where he was playing, where he was a starter with Buffalo. They made the playoffs. He played well with Buffalo. He hasn't been given the opportunities I think he deserves. I think Tyrod Taylor is a decent starter, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed that New England didn't go out and get him.
You say that like you would sign if you were a GM.
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical scenario. Inside jokes.
I think, because like he did lead the team to the playoffs, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers did go to the playoffs. And I think that this Chargers team is more talented than that Bills team was.
Exactly.
So, I see your point.
Yeah, I really like Tyrod Taylor, but that's just me. All right. The GOAT has left his perch in New England, and he is now down in Florida and Tampa Bay.
Wandering into other people's houses.
What does this mean for Tampa? What does this mean for Tampa?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady ends up in Orlando just getting lost all the time. But
Going into parks he's not supposed to be in and holding practices.
Riding roller coasters he's not supposed to ride.
Goes into like the Canton will say to him, okay, where's my teammates? That's right. This is the wrong stadium.
He's like, wait.
Not again.
He's like, wait. How did I end up in Miami?
Maybe I am old.
I know this stadium very well. I lose here quite a bit.
He's like, I feel an aura of losing this for me. It's the great disturbance in the celestial body that enables people to have powers.
All right, what do you got? What is Brady in Tampa mean?
Well, I mean,
how much better does this make Tampa?
I don't know, because Tom Brady wasn't wonderful. He
But
was
New England. He didn't really have a lot of
exactly. He's going into a lot better spot.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians is a no doubt quarterback coach.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Brady doesn't need any more coaching.
Honestly, I mean, Tampa Bay has turned into the new Browns, where their expectations are Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
Which means that if they fail, everybody's gonna laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna enjoy it.
Well, I think that this is a little different
than
than Cleveland, probably. I think this is a little different than Cleveland because I do think that they have the roster, and I think Bruce Arians is a proven coach, unlike Freddie Kitchens was.
Right.
Also, I think that, Brady has new toys. He has people to throw to.
Yeah.
He has two of the best people in the league to throw to, and Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I think that. I don't think that they're the best team in that division.
No,
I think
clearly not.
that he is unlucky in the fact that the New Orleans Saints are in their division.
Yeah.
But I do think that that is a playoff team. I do think that that is a team that can move into the playoffs depending on who they play.
Agreed.
And they can go onto the road and beat teams in the NFL postseason.
I think it has a lot to do with, did Brady really fall off a cliff last year, or was New England's offense really that bad?
Right. And we'll find out this year.
Yeah, if Brady plays poorly and Tampa is not a good team, then we know, all right, it was Brady. It was not the Patriots' offense.
Right.
If he goes out there and they win a Super Bowl or even make it deep in the playoffs, then you know, all right, it definitely wasn't Brady. And he's not a system quarterback.
Right.
This is a big prove-it year for Tom Brady.
Right. You've won 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
People are calling you the GOAT. There are still people like me who think that he's a system quarterback, and he's going out to try and prove those people wrong and say, I can win in any system.
Yeah.
I think
I just want to make one more point.
Yeah.
This helps the Bucs. The Bucs are going to be a lot better, and it's not because of the production. Jameis Winston led the league in passing. He threw for over 30 touchdowns. Those are awesome numbers. He threw for over 30 interceptions, though. Brady won't turn the ball over that much. He just hasn't in his career. He won't now. That's my prediction. And the Bucs defense, I think their numbers were a little skewed last year because they were always starting deep in their own territory. And a lot of those interceptions that Winston threw got run back for touchdowns.
Right.
And I think that hurt the points, in terms of points given up, that hurt that number a little bit.
Giving up touchdowns
and
points given up?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The Bucs should be better for that reason. Yeah. Brady won't turn the ball over for as much. He might not throw for as many touchdowns or as many yards, but they're going to be better because he will not throw for 33 picks.
Yeah. They'll be better, but you got to be a little weary about Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in fantasy, because they are not going to put up the crazy, ridiculous numbers that they did last year.
That's true, because Brady's not going to be as sling. He's not going to sling it as much.
Yeah. All right. Bridgewater's now the guy in Carolina. Does this make a difference in Carolina? I mean, does this really change how McCaffrey's getting handed the ball? Because we all know that's McCaffrey's team.
Well, I think this can change what they can do, because Teddy Bridgewater was a really solid quarterback. I don't want to quite say serviceable, but serviceable fits. Word of the day, so I'll say it. Before he had that horrible knee injury, and props to him for even being able to play again after that injury.
Some people he almost died.
Yeah, doctors had never seen that before, so it's
people thought that he was going to die.
It's amazing that he's able to play again.
Yeah,
after that injury.
Incredible.
He was very good with the Vikings.
Yeah, and he played very well last year.
And I don't really know many people like Vikings players on those teams.
Yeah.
Which just makes it even crazier.
Yeah, and he played well last year when Brees was hurt.
Right. So I think...
I don't know.
I think they will do well. I think DJ Moore is going to have a big year.
Yeah.
And if not, he's Teddy Bridgewater's the perfect guy to teach Trevor Lawrence, not Trevor Herbert, because that would be too good for this world. Him and McCaffrey on the same team. Him and Saquon McCaffrey. It just wouldn't be too...
I personally don't know why the Panthers made this move. Like, that's my personal opinion, because I don't necessarily think that even with Bridgewater, they are in a position to win now. And the way I look at it is that you could have just tanked, basically, and gotten Trevor Lawrence. And I think that would have been better for the future rather than paying Teddy Bridgewater that money. But Teddy Bridgewater is a very, very, very good quarterback. Like, he's an awesome quarterback. He went 5-0 at the Saints. His passer rating, I think, was around 99, I think.
Which is
just this last year.
Not incredibly elite.
Which is, he's not, like, I wouldn't call him elite, but he's definitely a good starting quarterback, and he should start for somebody. I just don't necessarily think that the Panthers, with their given situation, it was the best move for them to go out and get him. And I don't think that it changes much. I think they can win a few more games, but he could prove us all wrong, because they're still going to be facing 8-man boxes.
Yeah.
So there's definitely room for those receivers to run. And I think that Bridgewater, if you want to take advantage of that, is a good guy to take advantage of the fact that there are 8-man boxes trying to stop Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact that the Panthers are how they are and Bridgewater got paid that much money proves that teachers do get paid a lot in America nowadays.
Yeah.
Our parents would say otherwise, but...
Wow. That was a lot. I think the three of us need a break, and you all know what that means. As my comrades here call it, we're gonna play some elevator music. We'll be back.
Yay!
Going up.
I think I missed my opportunity, but everybody comment the letter B this time in the comments, okay?
B for beautiful.
Oh shoot! Every time it starts playing Fire,
fire
by Big
lit.
C.
It's
all right.
Everybody off.
We're back.
Woohoo!
Woo!
I love being back.
All right. So, just FYI for everybody, this episode, it looks like it's going to go a bit over our normal time, our normal target of 90 minutes.
Yeah, how long has it been already?
Seeming as we're an hour and 15 minutes in and we've just got to our break.
Nice.
We might go a little bit over, maybe 10, 15 minutes, but I think this has been it was a good conversation to have, and I think
I've had a lot of fun saying that. I hope you guys have had fun listening if you are still listening. These things are long.
Yeah, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed that first bit, because we definitely did. And, all right, Ben.
Yes.
We're back to you, because it's college stuff.
Yes,
college stuff, because you're the college guy.
I'm just, little anecdote, because why not? We're just burning time. I'm getting ready right before I eat dinner, and I look, and in our little, we have little notes.
Yeah.
This is like a little behind the scenes story. It says NCAA news, and then in all caps, I don't know who left it, but it was one of you two, said, Ben, put your stuff here. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just doing that. I'm not, I think it was actually kind of funny that it's just
I had information for you.
You're just like, Ben, I'm like, look at that, or else you're just gonna hear like, oh, no, I don't have anything in there. So I'm the college guy, I guess, which is fine. I like college sports. The NCAA extended its recruiting period, which is...
No, recruiting dead period.
Recruiting dead period, right. So pretty much, since a lot of high school spring sports were... Actually, no, all of them were canceled due to this stupid virus. My sport got canceled. Baseball. Ripped me. I was going to play varsity. Not to brag or anything. I'm not a recruiting target. I'm not going to play college. Who cares about me? Stop talking about yourself, Ben. Talk about the college people. So
we love you, Ben.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody, round of applause for Ben here.
Ben.
It's been a rough episode for me with getting kicked off and mispronouncing the names.
Maybe that should be the name. What? Rough episode for Ben.
Rough episode for... I mean, the other episode we have in there is Ben mispronounces
nightmare.
every name ever.
Yeah.
And if that's what we're going to call it, we should write Bond instead of Ben, just because.
We can call it Trevor Herbert.
Trevor Herbert. The sheep Trevor Herbert.
All right. Let's get back to the college stuff.
Dead period. Thank you, Sky. The dead period is exactly kind of what it sounds like. NCAA schools, they're not allowed to have in-person meetings with their recruits. This normally goes until around June or so, but now they're pushing it back to July 31st for what seems to be obvious reasons. They don't want people going to the campus, spreading their germs, because germs are gross. You can have a lot of people going there to meet with the coaches. The recruiting period has been extended, which is great for the seniors. You got to feel for the seniors, because for some of them, this was a chance to really show what they can do, to get scouted, to get recruiting details down right. They lost that time, so you really got to feel for them. They're getting this extra time to do that, and it's good on the NCAA for doing that. Now bring back the NCAA football game. That's what we all need.
Yes. Just to add a little bit to this, another thing the recruit or this dead period means is that and this doesn't affect people our age yet, but guys who are going to get recruited, they can't have official or unofficial visits to college either. So guys who have already been recruited and know they're going, all right, I'm going to UCLA. They can't go visit UCLA, but UCLA's coaches for whatever sport can't say, hey, we're interested in you. I want to come talk. I want you to talk to us.
Right.
No in-person visits for people that they're currently recruiting, have recruited, or are going to recruit, which is a big deal.
And we might not have to worry about it yet, but I know that you guys are probably stellar athletes, so just take that into advice for the future.
Yeah.
You guys have to be five-star recruits because you're goats, if you're still listening.
As someone who hopes to play college sports someday, this whole coronavirus thing, and I know it's a big deal for professional athletes as well, but it's really scary for the people, those of us who are especially going into our junior year as I am, because I know some people at our school who play hockey and I play soccer. We got fall, winter sports here.
Those are in jeopardy.
The season's in jeopardy, and we could end up losing our season. And it's really junior year sports are the most important year for recruiting. Right. It's because senior year you should already be thinking about where you're committing.
Have a pretty solid idea, right?
Yeah.
Man, Sky, I like that analysis. Do you want to be like the college junior guy or the junior college guy? you get your pick of the pun.
Sure. All right.
Cole, you get your senior. You can be the college senior analyst or the senior college analyst.
We're gonna move on now.
Episode option number 4: puns for everybody.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna move on now to the weekly soccer news or daily soccer news, which is
every other day.
Pretty difficult to find. Just like most sports, it's pretty difficult to get news right now. But for those of you who don't know, a transfer is a trade in soccer. So that we call it the transfer. So here's some transfer rumors and one transfer that actually went through.
Do you trade assets or do you trade other stuff?
Yeah, so also in soccer, you don't trade your players to other teams or you don't trade your picks.
You buy players. So you pay other teams for their players.
Which is why it's not really a trade.
It's not a trade. It's a transfer. I thought I heard somebody. All right. So, in transfer
wait until
news,
we release
this one's a bit old, but Hakim Ziyech of Ajax left. He's going to Chelsea.
Oh, no. I've heard of him. He's incredible. I haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
Really,
I'm the only one who knows
Dutch?
this guy.
Is he Dutch?
No, he's not Dutch. He plays for Ajax, but he's not.
I was going to say, where's that? I don't know where that's. I don't get any ideas where the name is from.
Ajax is in.
I know
it's Chelsea's in London, but
I'm
okay.
where it's from.
So my opinion on this transfer, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I don't know.
I think I was actually taking notes.
It's not exactly the best move for Chelsea because they have a lot of wingers. They have Christian Pulisic, they have Willian, and they have Pedro. They're going to add Hakim Ziyech, and they're looking to add Jadon Sancho. They're going to have 6 wingers when they only need to play 2 at a time. If everything goes their way.
I'm a Manchester United fan, so good. Spend all your money on useless things.
Yeah.
Good. Just donate your transfer salary.
Chelsea really needs to draft, Chelsea needs to really need to grab some defenders. In my opinion, they're weaker there. I love our defenders; they're all younger and talented, but we don't have the best defense in the league.
Buy more wingers. Only wingers.
As far as for Ajax, they don't really have much say because, like last summer, De Ligt left and De Jong left. They're losing their best players. They're a really good team that doesn't have the money to pay big players, and other teams that have the money to pay big players are going to buy their players.
This is what happened to Monaco.
Yeah.
And they had Mbappe and those guys.
Yeah, so Ajax is really good for that 1 year, but all their best players are getting transferred out, and they're not going to be that good anymore. They'll still be the best team in the Netherlands, but they're not going to make a push. They're not going to make a push to the semifinals again until, they have another big surge of talent.
Right.
As far as the Netherlands international team, they're stacked. Van Dijk and De Ligt, my goodness. That defense is incredible.
Now imagine if they had prime Van Persie.
Yeah. And Robin and Snyder. Oh, my goodness.
Jeez Louise.
They do have Memphis Depay. The Netherlands are looking to be a really good team for the future.
Right, Cole?
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
100%.
Jadon Sancho, like we talked about last time, he's rumored to be leaving Dortmund. And it's another thing where Dortmund really doesn't have the money to pay him big stuff. So a team with more money is going to come in. He's rumored to be going to an English team. He's an English guy. He's from England, born and raised. So he's rumored to be going to an English club.
Imagine that. I'm a Man United fan, so I want Chelsea to spend their money on used things. Rashford as striker, Martial and Sancho on the wings, Fernandes in the middle.
Oh my goodness! Okay,
they'd score many goals.
You're scaring.
So many goals. We're gonna win the league. I said this every year, but we're gonna win the league this time. I mean it this time.
Okay.
You heard it here, folks. They're gonna win the league.
No. Liverpool or Man City is gonna win the league. And Chelsea and Liverpool and Man City are the Champions League teams. It's the way it's been for the past 3 years. He's insane. Okay. Ben, good points there.
I'm gonna joke's on you. I'm gonna watch the video. What time is it at? No, I can't see.
1:23:25.
All right. I'm gonna remember that.
All right. So the teams that are rumored to be going for him are Chelsea, Liverpool, and both Manchester teams.
Yes. The other team's going to drop out.
It's really good for Jadon Sancho because he's going to go to a better team where he's going to have a chance to win some stuff, and then eventually this is how careers go. You start with a team, a second tier team in either Germany, France, or Italy. You start with Napoli or Inter Milan or Dortmund or Leipzig or teams like that. And then you get transferred to an English team, and then you have your career there. Then you go to Barcelona or Real Madrid, and then after that you go to PSG or Juventus or Bayern.
Or you go to the U.S.
Yeah, and then you retire to the U.S.
Make a fortune because you'll be the best player there.
Yeah, that's just how a soccer career goes. It's the next step for Sancho in his career, and I think it's a really good move for any of those teams to grab him.
Jaden, You should go to United. I'll
This
buy
almost
a
goes without saying. Neymar still regrets his decision to push his way out of Barcelona.
Yeah, to leave the best
and he wants to
trio
go back
ever.
to PSG.
Wait, what?
I mean, he wants to go back to Barcelona.
He's with PSG.
you
Cole's
know,
just like, geez, Luis.
I think it's a bad PSG. It would be a bad decision for them. For Neymar and Barcelona, it'd be great. I mean, Barcelona already has one of the best attacks in the world.
So who gets sold? Do you
but
sell Suarez or Griezmann?
you don't sell either.
What do you do then? Do you play like
You
4-4-2 kinda?
you
Two
play
striker?
You play a 4-3-3 with 2 holding mids and 1 attacking mid.
Right.
You
use,
play
like,
Griezmann at the attacking mid. You
and
play
then do
Suarez at
MSN
striker
at top.
and MSN. Yeah,
That's a good
it would be.
Yeah,
it
I'm
would be
taking this all in.
It would be an incredible attack.
That would be stab.
It would probably be the best team in the world without even considering that their defense is actually pretty decent.
Without even considering that Jadon Sancho is going to Manchester United. Confirmed. You heard it here.
Yeah, that's really all the transfer rumors for now. But we'll keep you updated because the transfer window is going to open on June 10th.
All right.
So people are going to start getting
That's my brother's birthday, and that's
transferred away. Yeah, I'm moving on June 10th.
Yeah, we should do that in your. We should do a deadline thing in your new room.
It'll be empty, but
Well,
that's
okay.
something
We'll fill it with our wisdom.
That's something to notice for the future because the video that's going to be coming out this Sunday, you'll see that me and Ben are going to be in some random room. But in the future, once I've moved, we're going to have some type of very cool setup in a new room of mine. So that'll be good.
You guys should watch our videos. If you don't watch our videos, or like us on Instagram, or follow us on Instagram, or answer our poll, we actually have people answering our polls on Instagram. We have questions from the people.
Which brings
for
me
hurry up offense.
Which brings me to the hurry up offense.
No, which brings me to the hurry up
Okay,
offense.
Ben.
Scotty, know your place. I'm the college guy. I'm the guy who makes the bad jokes. I'm the one who asks the questions.
Me and Cole don't have any gimmicks yet.
No. Well,
Ben has all of them. I do soccer, but
no,
like,
I just grab gimmicks. I'm the college guy. I'm the guy who tells all the bad jokes. I'm the guy who does the hurry up offense. But it means that I don't get to have an opinion on these issues, which kind of hurts my feelings. Okay, moving into this. We got, like you said, we got a lot of questions from the fans, most of which were about the NHL.
No, all of which were about the NHL restart.
We might have to change our name to suit the suit the majority of people.
No.
No? Okay.
That would kick me off the podcast. Come on.
What are you talking about, Scotty? You know so many people's names. You were telling me the other night that you knew McCarr's name. You knew Cale McCarr.
McCarr.
You don't just know McKinney. You also know Cale McCarr. All right.
And
so
Bergeron and Chara.
Yeah, we're rolling.
I said like DeBrusque.
DeBrusque.
I said DeBrincat, and I'm like, nope, he's with the Blackhawks. Okay, we should probably get to hurry up offense.
right, let's
not
go.
like not icing offense. Okay,
Yeah, hurry up offense.
So not pretty much, everybody commented on the NHL and the restart. So do you guys like the NHL restart and why? Some people, there were some interesting opinions about it.
Well, the interesting opinions were, we had one question on the YouTube video and one question from the Instagram poll, or 2 questions from the Instagram polls, and two of the 3 questions we got about this were like, I really don't like the restart. And the reason that they gave was because they said that it's giving an opportunity for teams that didn't make the playoffs in the regular season that they had to make the playoffs, and teams that made the playoffs to get knocked out. It gives an opportunity to people to earn something that they didn't deserve. And I'm going to say, and I know that the people that ask these questions, they might disagree with us, which is fine.
You guys should come on. We can have.
Yeah.
We can set it up like Shannon Dole against Skip Baymore. I don't want to say their names.
I'm gonna say I've changed my mind. I actually really like the restart.
I'm starting to
because it. And I know you guys don't like it because it's giving the opportunity for teams that weren't in the playoffs to be in the playoffs. But what it really does, it allows teams that were on the fringe to make a playoff push, right? Because some of these teams were going to make a playoff push. And if you just cancel the end of the season, it takes away their ability to have their late season push to make the playoffs.
Don't hit him. He's my friend.
Versus,
that's Johnny, my friend.
Versus now, it gives a chance for the late season push. Right. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
That's why I like it. It's a late season push. Yeah.
Yeah, you're replacing the regular season. That's what it is.
Right.
And yeah, you let a team like the Canadians have a shot.
But, I mean,
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And the Canadians weren't mathematically eliminated. For all we know, they could have run the table,
right.
right?
Yeah.
For all we know, they could have done that.
This was a
And
question.
it's the fairest way to do it. Obviously, the best way, like the way that we all like it, is if the whole virus didn't happen and we could just do a normal Stanley
I
Cup
love
playoffs, which would have been about over by now.
Yeah.
But this is the best way to do it under the circumstances. You give the best teams an automatic pass. You say you're hosting a series in the round 1, they call it. It's really round 2. They say you're hosting that series. And you know what? If Pittsburgh really deserves to be in the playoffs, they should beat the Canadians.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Pittsburgh really deserves it, they should beat them.
Be fun if they.
You know, you could say we got screwed over because we had to play. No, then you might not have been good enough.
Yeah, no. And
Not
the thing
saying
is,
that they're not. I'm just using them as an example
Right.
because they're the team I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
of. But
Yeah,
if you're really good enough to make the playoffs, you should be able to beat the Canadians 3 times out of 5.
Right.
It doesn't really make sense to me either, because you're like, I can complain. I had to play into the playoffs even though I was going to be in a playoff spot. But no matter what, you're going to have to fight for your playoff spot at the end of the regular
Right.
season.
Right.
This is just you have to prove that you're a playoff team. Unless you're one of the teams that basically was already clinched into the playoffs.
Right.
You have to prove it.
Right.
This is your prove it.
Oh.
If you're really that much better than these teams, prove it.
By the way,
Yeah.
hats off to our boys Ovi and Pasternak for splitting the Rocket Richard. Shake hands for that. Hats off to them. Ovi's won his 9th straight. Pasternak also wins one.
Also, by the way, we won the President's Cup.
That's not a good thing.
I know.
That's
I
a
know.
horrible
Not a good
thing.
thing.
It's not
We
a
won
good
it 2
thing.
years in a row a couple years ago. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, but
Okay.
we
Yeah,
got
just
some
ask
silverware.
Nashville,
So-
Washington,
And
Tampa. how
right
that
now,
worked out.
right now,
Yeah.
we're the only team in the NHL that got
Do you know what the
silverware
President's
this
Trophy
year,
looks
so-
like? It's pretty cool.
We're the only team in the NHL that's
So pretty-
guaranteed to get silverware this year, because who knows?
Right.
Maybe the rest of the season gets canceled because there's
That's
a
the
second
trophy.
spike in cases.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
Bruins won a trophy.
Check out
Nobody else did.
That's a pretty cool
It
trophy.
isn't a pretty nice trophy.
Yeah, so pretty much Cole's logic is mirror, mirror on the wall. What's the fairest way to finish the regular season in the NHL?
And this is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
It works the best.
Yeah.
I don't get to have an opinion on the matter. So, question. Let's keep this quick. What's going to happen to Josh Rosen? Does he get traded? Does he sit? Does he play?
He doesn't play this year for the Dolphins. I really hope Miami lets him go, because he's a talented guy and he deserves to prove himself
Right.
on a team where he actually has a chance.
A team-
In Miami, he was behind a poor offensive line. He wasn't ready to play. In Arizona, he was behind a poor offensive line. He wasn't ready to play. The reason why Kyler Murray had the success he did is because Cliff Kingsbury built an offensive line for
Right.
him. Josh Rosen didn't have the offensive line. I want to see what Josh Rosen can actually do.
This guy's like, maybe in a...
Yeah.
He's played in 2 warm environments. Maybe in a cold...
No, I don't want him.
You don't want him?
I don't want him.
I wouldn't mind.
I
Yeah.
want to see him.
I wouldn't mind
I want to
trying
see him
him.
play as a fan, but I don't want him in New England. I want to see what Stidham can
I
do.
wouldn't mind him as a rental.
I mean, the way I look at it is it wasn't fair. He's had it rough. If I recall correctly, the Cardinals posted something saying Josh is our guy. The next day, they take Kyler Murray, number 1 overall. That's pretty rough. That was not a nice thing to do.
And Steve Smith got on him because on
But
account
the way
of
I look at it, we wanted to see him get his shot, because with that was a tanking. I mean, we knew that coming into the year, and we especially knew it when they lost to the Ravens 59-10.
right.
That was a team that was on the
Yeah.
down skid, and those were 2 bad situations that he got put into.
Right.
So
Okay.
I just want to see what he can do.
Yeah. All right.
yeah,
Real
I want to
quick,
see somebody build around him.
1 or 2 word answer. Where will Sancho land?
This is really tough.
Cole's like
He's not going to Liverpool. They have Salah and they have Mane.
Mane's
It would be a bad decision for Liverpool if they signed him, because they have
And Mane's
too much
so
talent.
good.
He wouldn't play,
Yeah,
or one of those 2 guys wouldn't play.
And Shaqiri can play the wing too.
Yeah. He I'm going to say it's not United because United is normally the number one front runner for these big guys.
Because we got the money.
But they never sign anybody big. They never do it. They're not going to anymore. And Chelsea always, they have a lot of money. They never sign anybody big. They sign a lot of people. They don't sign the big name guys. They sign guys like Kovacic and Jorginho and Ziyech, but they don't sign guys that are big name like Sancho. He's going to Manchester City, I think, because
God hates us all.
Sergio Aguero and Raheem Sterling and Sane, who was hurt all year. They're gonna. I think that since Sane was hurt all year, they're gonna maybe let him go somewhere else, and they're gonna throw Sancho in the mix,
or make the two of them fight it out.
Cole, let's give you a favorite soccer.
I actually have an answer for this one.
Yes.
And here's my answer with zero logic behind it. Man United.
Yes.
And because I want to make, that's why. And then the other reason, if he goes to Man United, that's right. You heard it here.
just so
that's right. You heard the one.
First.
You heard the guy who knows nothing about soccer.
Cole needs a
say he's going to Man United, and then we can live on that.
It honestly could happen.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, Cole needs to pick a favorite team that is his favorite team just because we don't like them.
You can cheer for Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's what I did with Ohio State.
They have to hate Michigan more than Penn State. That's his Ohio State. So Arsenal makes sense. They hate Chelsea more than United. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
Arsenal is the Ohio of our soccer.
You can talk with your. They even wear red. You can talk with your boy Mr. Walker about Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to make the decision for myself. It might take a while to make that decision, but I will
you don't
make
know their
it for
names.
myself.
Hey, just let us.
You don't know their names.
Just let us here at the Predominantly Football Podcast know first. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do.
I will say, I will love you forever if you become a Chelsea fan. And
I will love you even harder, and I will love you so much harder if you become a United fan. That's the first thing we do on Monday or the video.
We make our cases.
No. We have Cole's unveiling. Maybe we can do cases, but Cole reveals his favorite team. Don't tell anybody.
No, how about we
research.
reveal if I chose or not, and then people have to keep listening to see.
You have to choose.
No, we make it the last thing, so we make people listen all the way through.
No, we put it in the middle, so you can't just skip to the end.
Boom.
Oh, true.
Mark it. Okay.
Balance.
Wait, real quick. Cole, you should cheer for Wolves.
Yes.
Nobody would be upset with you, and they're honestly a pretty exciting team.
But it's more fun. But that's why I picked Ohio State, because he knew we'd be upset with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Two teams are looking to be bottom feeders in the NFC East. Who finishes
NFC North, Ben?
Everything's in the East for me. Okay. Yeah. Ben mispronounces everything. It's getting some weight to it. Will the Lions or the Bears finish higher? Go.
Lions.
Cole?
I say the Bears.
I have an opinion, but it doesn't matter because I ask questions.
You know what, Ben? This is a one-word opinion.
Yeah,
Why
it's
don't
the
you say your
Lions.
opinion?
Lions. Yay! I got to say my opinion. Woohoo! I got to answer
say the
a
Bears
question.
because defense, and if they make the right decision on quarterback, I think that they could.
This has been a milestone episode. Ben answers a question. I think the campus was the problem. Okay, last one. Who is the bigger boom or bust team? Not like who's going to be the biggest bust or who's going to be the biggest boom. Who is more boom or bust? Colts or Chargers?
Colts. They went out and signed a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, Colts.
What if we
They spent lots of money and lots of draft capital trying
If the
to
Bucs
make their
are in
team
it,
better.
then it's the Bucs.
Right.
The Bucs are the biggest boom or bust team in the NFL since the Browns last year.
Right. Since the Browns last year. A whole year. We waited a whole year.
There's always one.
And don't be swatting at my friends.
Hey,
the Moths.
the Moths are so annoying.
They're my friends.
They poop all over the place.
They don't poop. They release a different fluid. They release all over the floor, and it's disgusting. It's so horrible that I couldn't even say it.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
That's all for Hurry Up.
Well, that was the end of our third show. It was a bit longer. It started off really interesting, good topics. Towards the end there, it got a little cagey. But it was good. I think it was really good. And
I remember that.
big round of applause to us. We finished our first week of podcast.
It's pretty much our fourth show too, isn't it?
How?
I don't know. It went so long. How long has it been?
It is 1:39:09.
Yeah,
so it's
That's
almost
not too
been
bad.
10 minutes
That's
over.
about what you
but
expected.
It's good
Yeah,
good
if you
amount.
guys are still with us.
A big thanks to Big C for the
Yeah, Big
fire
C!
intro.
Big C!
Big C.
Thank you to YouTube for an easy way to release our content
And for
that is
not
not being Podbean. And to
If somebody is a rival of Podbean, we will happily work for you.
yeah,
For free.
For
free.
a limited
For,
amount, not
for
free.
a little bit of money.
For not as much
Well,
as
what I
normal.
mean is, like, we get to go on there for free.
It's
Sure.
Oh yeah, it's a
Yeah.
passion project for us. It's like movie making.
Thanks to Instagram for allowing us to share our
We
brand.
should share it more often.
And thank you to Scott, who is me, Coach Scott.
What about your friend, who is me, Ben, your friend,
Yes.
and Cole, your friend, who is Cole, who is your friend.
Thank you to me for the rest of the music.
Yeah, elevator.
Yeah, Scott.
Thank you to Sound Effects for all the sound effects. Thanks to our sponsor, who we finally don't have.
We got it.
I got
We got you guys.
and-
We're gonna find a new way to say that every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until we actually have one, then we're gonna Then we're not even gonna mention until like, oh yeah, we're sponsored by Pod Carrot. We hate Podbean too. If you want to join the protest against Podbean, switch to Pod Carrot. That's not a real thing, is it?
Hey,
We're in trouble if that is.
free advertisement for anti-Podbean.
Yes, we should make our own podcast service called. We should make a club. That's our merch, the Anti-Podbean Club.
And most importantly, thanks to you guys. Your continued support is the reason why we're still here on episode 3.
But you guys need to watch our videos.
And like them.
Yeah, watch more of our videos. Episode 2 has like a fifth of the views of episode 1, but over half of the likes, which makes no sense. So please, if you're watching
This has been the Predominantly Football Podcast. We'll be back on Sunday with our first YouTube video.
That's
it's
not-
gonna be.
with our technically fourth, but our first
It's
dedicated
our first video.
dedicated
It's our first
YouTube-
actual video.
Yeah, an
Yeah,
actual video, not a podcast.
I'm gonna say this video. One thing you can expect, we're gonna make a list. Ooh. All right.
Is it? Ooh, it's got to be the Tears of Sexiness.
Thanks for listening, guys.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Calling it now. You heard it here first.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Watch
and,
our other videos, and we love you. Know that you are loved.